The disastrous impact global warming is having on our planet is now clearly visible in widespread flooding, heat waves and natural disaster. But few people are aware of the negative effect it's also having on our health. New research has revealed climate change could now pose a bigger threat to health than smoking, alcohol or obesity. Professor Gilmore, President of the Royal College of Physicians, addressed the medical profession on the risks facing human health and how they can be avoided, reduced or delayed.
The emphasis on the effect of climate change has very much been on the environment, on animals, but actually the biggest and most immediate threat is to health. Changing patterns of disease, malaria moving into northern Europe, perhaps even into Britain, but even bigger effects will be those that we see from reduction in water supplies, droughts, effect on food supplies, famine, floods, this unstable climate change, hurricanes and so on disrupting medical services. The list is endless, really.
The conference aimed to educate doctors and help them understand the wider health problems affecting their patients. By championing change and encouraging greener lifestyles, they could then improve human health. But as global warming increases at an alarming rate, action needed to be taken immediately.
The worries have grown in terms of the speed and gravity of the threat. So what we've realised in the last few years is that this is not something that will potentially affect us maybe in a few hundred years, but that will affect us and is likely to pose a threat to the lives of our children within the next 40 years or so. So we're looking at deaths affecting us and our families now, and I think that's what's changed and has energised those individuals.
Dr. Montgomery believes climate change poses a major threat to the survival of the human race. He predicts that as crops fail, there will be starvation and disease, which will lead to economic collapse, migration and war. Scientists predict 50% of the world's species will be extinct within a few decades. The human race should not believe they are safe from such a fate.
We have to act immediately, and it has to be hard and fast. So we've probably got little less than 5 years to have got in place the major changes that we need to make to lower carbon. Because carbon hangs around for a very long time. A fifth of it's still there 1,000 years from now. So even if you stop making the CO2 now, what we've produced is still going to be producing warming. So we don't have 50 years to get the solution in place. It's got to happen within the next 60 months or so. In the end, we're going to need better technologies, carbon capture and storage from power stations and so forth. We're going to need economic frameworks, carbon trading. But none of those can happen quickly enough. The first thing has to be individual action, because every single person that's watching this report can lower their carbon footprint by 1/3 overnight. We can all do that. And unless we do, we're doomed, because the other things will not have time to come online.
There was still time to act. By taking simple steps around the home, everyone could reduce their carbon footprint. Recycling, using less energy and swapping cars for bicycles will all help cut carbon emissions. But if action is not taken on a global scale, the human race could become the first species to document its own extinction.